Uh, I think
This meeting is being recorded.
I think a number of us have joined the meeting, and that's very good. Okay, first of all, I would like to start with welcoming all of you to the session. It's an honor because without you, I don't think we have a session like this. Thank you very much. So I will start with Katile. I don't know whether you can hear me.
Hello, yes.
Hello, yes.
Oh, so I think we'll start with a recap of the previous sessions. Would you mind if you give us a brief recap of our previous sessions?
Hello, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Katile Mutuku, and well, now I can say that you have been awesome, and since we had the career series, we have had 4 sessions now. And the session we did was on CV writing, what to include in CVs, email preferences in CVs, and we were also taught on how to list our skills on the CV, how to target our CV to the job role, which parts employers look for in CV, and the personal details that we should include in the CV. And then we're taught on how education and professional qualification we should put together with work experience, interests and achievements, and other skills that are necessary to include in the CVs, and what to avoid, and how long CV should be, making adjustments on formatting like font size, and also how to tailor our CV to the role that we are applying for, and how we should write our references to the CV, and how to update our CV. So that's all we talked about in the first session on CV writing on 16th February. And then we had a session on 18th February on cover letter writing, where we're told on how to introduce our cover letter, the objectives we should be having, why do we have to write cover letters, and how to respond to job advertisements, how to approach a job, how to research about the company or the organization, and why is it important to read the job description before you write a cover letter, and finally, how we understand the audience if we are writing our cover letter, how we can draft it, writing styles, editing, common pitfalls that people have during cover letter writing, and yeah, how to get the cover letter in the right hands. Then from there, we had another session on cover letter writing, and we had another session on CV writing session where we are taught on how to link up the cover letter, the CV that you have written, and the interview, how we can now approach the interview. And I think it has been awesome and have learned a lot. And I guess everyone in all the participants have learned a lot on CV writing and cover letter, and how to link both to the view. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Katile. So I don't know whether you have been able to create the poll so that we can welcome the speaker.
Hello, I've been talking, so I'm doing it now. You can just go on.
So,
I it, yeah.
Okay. My name is Mwangi Paul. I'll be your moderator today. I'm a student from Zitech University, taking bachelor's degree in IT, 4.1 student. It's a pleasure having you all, and I really appreciate. So I don't know whether Madam Grace, are you ready?
Paul, I was born ready.
Oh, okay. I think we'll start by introducing you before Katile works on the poll.
So you're introducing
So
me.
guys, okay, I'll have to introduce you first. Okay, guys, Madam Grace Nzura is our speaker today, and will be taking us through. Wait a minute, just a minute. Okay, Madam Grace Nzura is the founder and lead consultant at Tara Solutions Limited, manager, Panisa Training, practicing member of IHRM, HR advisor in the board of several private companies, double award winner 2021. Wow, that's nice. Most aspiring female HR and HR trend setter by IHRM Kenya. Okay, easier said than done. I would like to welcome Madam Grace Nzura to introduce herself. Back to you, Madam.
Hi. Thank you very much, Paul, for your wonderful introduction. And I want to appreciate everyone who's attending the call. Sometimes it's not really easy to get people to take something seriously, especially people in the generation Z, Y, and all that. So I really appreciate your time. I think Paul has done a bit of my introduction. I am Grace Nzula. I am a HR consultant and trainer with Atara Solutions. Atara Solutions is a HR consulting and training firm. We are based in Nairobi, but we operate in all spheres of Kenya. I am also the manager at Panesa Training Institute. Panesa Training Institute is a carpentry, it's a woodworking school. We train people to become carpenters. And then I am also, a lot of HR professionals call me the moderator of choice. That has come up because I host a program called Get It Right with the Tara Solutions, where we train people on different things, let me call them things, or topics, where our mission is to demystify issues in entrepreneurship and employment. And we do that through sharing information. So every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., we have a topic we are discussing. Last week, we were teaching people how to optimize their LinkedIn so that they are spotted by headhunters. And I believe if some of you tuned into that, then I'm sure this will be very relevant. If you haven't, you can check it out on our YouTube channel. It's called Get It Right with Atara Solutions. There's a lot of information that will really help you position yourself as a career, or if you want to go into business, then there's a lot of that there. On top of that, then I am a coordinator and moderator for the Institute of Human Resource Management in their major events. So sometimes I support them when they're doing the conferences that attract about 1,000 people, and I become the coordinator and moderator. Other than that, I'm a mother of 2, and I am, I am a CHRP and all those things. Let me not just continue saying this. So I've been a HR for the last 12 plus years, and this is something that I love doing. I love impacting people's lives, and especially young people. I keep saying that because somebody took a chance on me, I am going to take a chance on somebody. So, and I had requested for a poll. I wanted to hear from you guys. How many times have you, I don't know whether Katila is ready with the poll. I wanted to know how many of you.
Okay, she's preparing the link.
Okay. So we wanted to hear from you. How many times have you attended an interview so far? Between 0, maybe you can also engage on the chat as we wait for Katila or as we move on. How many times I've seen Derek saying he has attended at least 5, what he can remember. Oh, it's Dixon. Who else has attended interviews? Faith Nataya or Akinyi? Let's engage on the chat. How many times have you attended an interview? If you can remember, at least. Is it 1 to 0, 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 15? Mwangi says none. Somebody else participate. I like having engaging classes, so you better have your your fingers on the nini, because we are going to discuss. This is a discussion. Milan says none. Dennis says none. Let me get, there's 16 of us, so let me get at least 10 so that I can know where we are at. Who else is here? Joylyn, Eugene, William Okwach, Tuya Moses, Sharon Sikawa, Nokia 2. Oh yeah, there goes our poll now. How many times have you attended an interview? If you can just answer, take a minute, quickly, so that we can dive into the meat of the matter. I can see a lot of nones. There's a poll that has been launched. Okay. All right. Okay, I can see 3 nones. How many times have you attended an interview? Where's Dixon? Dixon, you said about 5, and I can see 5 is 0. It's still none. Okay. Maybe we can take, okay, there's about 49 seconds. Please take the poll so that we can get to understand where it is you're at. How many times have you attended the interviews? How many times have you attended interviews? How many times have you attended interviews? All right. Okay. All right, there's 28 minutes to go. How many times have you attended an interview? I can see the majority haven't. Okay. So I hope you brought your notebooks. And you're ready to engage, because I'm hoping to support you with your fears, to help you build confidence. Okay. Right. I think, Katila, we have at least 50%, so we can probably close the poll. Most people are 5 and below, so you can share results. Yeah. All right. So 9 out of 17 participated, and most of them are on the none. That's fine. Now at least I can gauge what level we have this conversation from. And yeah, and please remind me, somebody remind me that we need to tackle virtual interviews. I think I might have skipped that when I was doing my presentation. So Paul, make sure we don't forget to do virtual interviews.
Okay.
All right, so for the people who have done interviews, and allow me, Dixon, allow me to use you for an example. How was the experience, if you may? Dixon, if you can unmute yourself. Is he still with us? Who else said 5? Yeah? Okay. Sasa kama hamtaki kuniambia what your experiences were. Now, I know that interviews are quite daunting because I don't know, somehow it feels like somebody's doing an exam when you're attending for interviews. I remember my first interview after campus. I went and I found about 7 people. It was in a very big organization. And I found the 7 people who were, the 7 people were in the panel. And I remember a question that I've never forgotten to date. If you went to a place and you found that you were wearing white and you found, and you're asked to sit on that, what would you do? And my answer to that question was, I will just sit, even though I'm in white. And I know that was the wrong answer, but I answered it that way. And I have never forgotten to date, because that is what costed me that job. It was a very lucrative job. It was really good for a fresh student like myself. So, and to date, I've never forgotten that experience. But it's a good thing that you start trying to, you start attending interviews now for practice purposes, even just for you to get the experience, because you get to build your confidence. So I had been given about 4 things to tackle, and I will try and focus on that. And this will be probably, I'll try and incorporate the virtual experiences as well. Because right now we can't really run away from Zoom interviews. So my first question was, what do interviewers want? And there are 2 major things that will actually keep you in the interview room, yeah? Because sometimes when we start interviews, we just want, it takes us 2 minutes to actually know whether we are going to ask more questions or not. So if you ever go to an interview and the interviewer take a minute or 2 with you, just know that either you have a godfather or you have not passed that interview for sure. Because if you impress them, they want to know more about you. They want to really push. Some interviewers will actually not push it, whether you are getting the job or not, but it's because they have a paper that they are marking. So what do interviewers want? Now, from the interviewee, we want confidence, but we want a confidence with humility. There's some people who come to the interview rooms with overconfidence. Now, when you're overconfident, sometimes you end up doing injustice to yourself. So you need to have confidence, but you also need to balance it with humility. So that your confidence, and I hope people here on the call can actually understand English, Kiswahili. If you don't understand, you can type on the chat and we'll have a look. So if you're balancing confidence, if you come with overconfidence and no humility, you end up looking like ukona maringo. You end up looking like it's pride. It's no longer confidence. So what do interviewers want? They want a confident person, but they want a confident person who is able to balance his confidence or her confidence with humility. And this is very, very key. Now, how do you build your confidence? And you're going to look at that on how to prepare for your interview. But the one thing that you can never get tired of is practice, 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 prepare, prepare, prepare. And you're going to look at that as we go along before the night ends today or before our session ends. Now, the number 2 very important thing that interviewers want is on the authenticity. How authentic are you? You see, nowadays, because we all know that CVs are being done. Jay has been spending his time doing CVs for people. So we know that sometimes the CVs can be put in a way that it displays you as a very, very qualified person. But when you come to the interview, you cannot match the skills that have been put on your CV with who you are. And that means that we are not able to tell the difference between who you are and what you do. And being authentic means that you have a balance between who you are and what you do. And that's why you've been hearing a lot of comments that they hired people. They were very impressive during the interviews, because nowadays we coach people for interviews. They were very, very forthcoming with the interviews. They were interesting. They sounded like they knew what they were doing. But when they start doing the work, my God, You're wondering, where were you when you started doing the interviews? In fact, like yesterday, we had a client of mine recruited people last month. And 3 weeks down the line, he's like, these guys are too expensive and I'm not seeing results. And because he was very impressed with how they conducted themselves during the interviews. But when they come to doing the actual work, they were not able to deliver. And that means that, in fact, today we spent the whole morning doing discharge letters to these employees. And you can imagine if this is somebody who left employment somewhere, which really feels bad. But it is important that you're authentic, that you do not present yourself as a person that you're not. And we have a lot of these things because, I mean, technology has helped us create an image. But you need to remember, you have to be authentic in as much as you're using different words to describe who you are. So authenticity, confidence with humility is very, very, very important. The other very, very important thing when you're going to interviews and what the interviewers will be looking out for is your body language. Are you listening with your whole body? Are your eyes looking at the person who is talking to you? You know, in fact, we had a couple of interviews like last week, but one, and there was this lady who kept tapping her feet, you know? She kept, like, if you can see my photo, she kept shaking, like her hands, like she kept doing this, you know? Throughout, she was like this, rubbing fingers, you know, rubbing her hands, and she was tapping her feet, and you could tell. And you could tell that the way she's answering questions, she's not even listening with her whole body. She's so tensed, she was not able to take that interview the way she'd have wanted to. Now, here's the thing, because you have gone through this training, and thanks to BBYO, yeah, at least we expect you to do better when you attend any interviews going forward. So listen with your eyes by looking at the person who is talking to you, and then listen with your feet. This means that you cannot be tapping the floor, okay? Because some of you are shaking I mean, you're tapping the floor, but also you're shaking. You know, your knees can't keep still. And then your ears, listen. There's a reason that why you were given 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen, listen, listen. And we normally say that a lot of people, human beings that is, we listen to answer and not to understand. Now imagine if naturally you listen to answer and not to understand. What happens when you have tension? When you're wondering, will I get this job or not? When your whole system knows that you need this job, otherwise unarudi ocha. Your ears have to listen, learn to listen. And then your body. You know, some people come to the interviews, and I hope you guys can see my screen. Can you please tell me whether you're seeing my screen? Paul, can you see me? You know, I like showing people.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So some people come to the interviews looking like this. You want us to interview you as you give us the back. Or you go and sit at the far corner of the conference table, where you are not even directly facing the people who are interviewing you. You know, let your body face the speaker as well, okay? Then your mouth, not talking or humming or making sounds. You know, you're seated there. I have seen people who are clicking, like you're asked a question, and especially the question on family members. Like somebody's asking you, are you married? You go like, you know, like, why are you asking me whether I'm married? You know? Or you're so tensed that you want to calm yourself down and you start humming, or you're just making noise. And a lot of things we have seen with some young people is when they come to the interview at the waiting room, when they're waiting there, they are busy taking selfies, they are busy making a lot of noise. And that means that sometimes you're being observed. Sometimes the interview starts as soon as you walk into that building. So watch out for noise making, okay? And then your brain, think about what is being said. Take your time to process. And I'm going to repeat this as we handle how to carry out successful interviews, yeah? And then your hands. Please, please, please. Please don't overuse your hands. Don't assume the closed position. I don't know whether you can see my position, you know, sometimes we hold our hands like this. This means that you're closed communication. Yeah. So relax your hands. Relax your hands. You can place them on the lap. Yeah. You can actually hold on to your documents if you think that you're not able to control your hands. These are survival tactics. And then your heart, caring about the person, what the person is saying. Be present. Let's feel your presence. Don't be, you know, sometimes people come for interviews and you're looking at this person and you're like, why did you even wake up? Sometimes you're conducting interviews at 7 a.m. Why on earth did you wake up this early to come and waste your time? Because you're not understanding what this person is saying. You do not even want to look, you don't look interested. You do not sound interested. Yeah, you look like you just want to tick a box. I have attended an interview because your parents told you to go for that interview. I hope we are still together.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I don't talk to myself mostly. All right. So a few other things that the interviewers want. And the first one, and I mean, the fourth one is a positive attitude. You need to demonstrate that you have a can-do attitude. And Paul, you can help me write that on the chat. A can-do attitude, not there's somebody who told us last week that he cannot work past 5 p.m. Apparently because I have no idea what reason he gave us. He also told us that his limitation is from 8 to 5 and he cannot work on Saturdays. And you're like, okay, fine, that's okay, because that is you. If you're being authentic, that's fine. But please note, a lot of employers will want somebody who actually does not say no before they're even offered. And for me, having a positive attitude, I was recruiting actually for my own company the other day, and somebody, I can't remember the assignment I gave this person, and he said, how am I able to access the CVs and I don't have the password? No, I actually asked him to shortlist for a position, and then he asked, he said, but I do not have the password. And to me, that was a very negative aspect of that statement. But I do not, this is somebody who sees problems more than solutions. The right thing to say there, what would it have been, if you can? What do you think the right thing should have been? Yeah, that's okay, Dixon. Don't worry about it. So I'm asking you guys, and we can engage on the chat if you're able to chat. Yeah. What do you think the answer should have been? I asked him to go and shortlist on email, and his answer was, but I do not have but I do not have the password. What do you think the positive answer would be? What do you think somebody who is solution oriented would have said? I'm waiting on you guys. I'm waiting on you guys. Katila and Paul, you're not lucky. You probably should go first. Katila, am I alone in this room? Hello? Hello?
Hello. I'm still figuring out.
Okay, who might have thought? Who probably thinks they have an answer? Eunice Wanjiko, what do you think? By the way, please note, kwa hii class hakuna right or wrong answer. Eh? We are all engaging. We are here to learn. Beryl says they could have requested for the password. How would they have requested for the password? Like, what would their response be? What could the response have been? I said, go and shortlist these people. And their answer was, but I do not have the password. Bilha, you're also traveling, but you can chat. We're asking to chat. We're not asking to speak. Yeah? Anyway, in the interest of time, the positive answer there would have been either kindly assist me with the password. By saying ni kama kusema si hujanipea. I am hoping that we are all Kenyans here, we can understand Swahili. Yeah. Yes, Dennis, you got it right. Kindly, would you mind helping me with the password? Because that is a positive person. But somebody who just says, but I do not have a password, that means that you always see problems. Now, if you go to an interview and you're given a case scenario, you need to think about what would the positive answer be? How do you train your mind to actually look for solutions and not see problems only? Because I can tell you, interviewers are not looking for people who see problems. We want people with solutions. We want solution-oriented people. So you need to demonstrate that you have a can-do attitude and that you have a positive response and you process things in a positive way. Okay? The other thing is you need to understand the role and how you feel it. Yeah. Employers normally probably will advertise for a role. For example, we can say that we are looking for an accountant. We have not even given you a job description. For example, if you're using recruiters like ourselves, if you have not given the job description, you need to go and find out what exactly does an accountant do. And you guys are very fortunate that you're in an age where we live in an information-packed world. Okay, you can just go online, Google job description of an accountant. Find out what exactly does an accountant do. And then you come and do an analysis of yourself. You can actually, if in your notebook right now, I don't know what you guys are studying right now, but whatever it is that you're learning in school and whatever job that you want to go and apply for, you need to match the role that you're applying for with your skills. So for example, if there's a leadership position that they're looking for, part of the skills that they're looking for is leadership, and you have conducted a leadership role in the school, you need to make sure that you're aligning that particular skill that you have into the role so that they can match. Because please note, the reason why people are interviewing is to see how you understand about yourself and exactly how do you fit in this role. And I can tell you, when you come for interviews, employers are very, let me call it selfish, for lack of a better word, because we are looking out for ourselves. We are looking at a person who will fill our needs. So when you come for the interview, don't come thinking with your own problems. You know, the way Kenyans are there saying that I have been out of work for 3 days, and for 3 years, and I have a degree holder. I am a degree holder. So what? How does your degree match up to my needs? How does your degree and being at home support the role that you're applying for? You know, how does you, because I've had Kenyans, I get this a lot, waliachana na mzee and she's a single mom. And I'm like, okay, fine, that's fine. If we have an opportunity, we will give. But if they come to the interview and all they're saying is how they're a single mom and they need the job because they need to fend for their children, I can tell you, we're not going to give you that job. Because please remember, and I hope you're writing this down, remember that we are looking to fill our need. And I'm speaking as an employer at this point in time. It is the need in our organizations that we want to fill, not your specific personal needs. Okay? When you get this job, you will have a mutually beneficial relationship. You sell your skills and you're paid at the end of the month for it, or at the end of the day or something like that. Okay? I hope I'm making myself very clear. So you need to understand the role that you're applying for. Even if you see people, like I have seen a lot of young people who just, they've seen an email address, they just attach their CV and click forward. Now, the worst part is that they have forwarded like the same email to about 20 people. And we can see the line of the people you have forwarded. Honestly, why are you being so lazy, guys? If you're applying for a job with Atara Solutions, open a new email, compose a new email specifically for Atara Solutions, attach your CV, attach your cover letter, and send. Don't go copy paste, CCing every other organization that you're applying for. Our needs are very, very different, okay? And then show that you can learn, demonstrate, because now I have realized I'm speaking to people who have not really like experienced interview. That means probably you're not working. Show the ability to learn. And you know, nowadays, when you see job advertisements or job descriptions, we normally write the roles, like the duties and responsibility, we'll write it down. Then we'll have qualifications. This is your school, your degree in what, da, 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 da. And then after that, we have the other qualifications, which is leadership skills, communication skills, da, 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 emotional intelligence, and all these things. Nowadays, where the world has come to is we have switched. We are no longer looking to fill the position up there first. We are giving, now, Kitambo, we used to do 70% of the duties and responsibilities. Currently, we have broken that down to 40% is going to the person's attitude or the qualifications and skills. Pale chini penye panakuanga na attitude. That is what is taking 50%. So I don't know whether you guys have had hire for attitude and train for skills. The only way that you'll be able to be trained for skills if you show that you can learn. And unfortunately, and I hope the lady is not here, we interviewed somebody about a while back in January, and she's an HR professional. And when we asked, tell us something about what does an HR do? This is somebody who has a degree in HR, and she could not explain what an HR does. She could not explain what an HR does. I felt very sad. I felt very, very sad, because this is somebody who finished college, has gone for 3 months attachment, and cannot explain what an HR does. And they're here, they're looking for jobs. So this is to you guys, because you're doing your degrees and diplomas and probably even working. We want people who can demonstrate the ability to learn. Trainable people, and trainable people have a positive attitude. Trainable people show understanding, okay? Then dress code. I know we are living in the age of my dress, my choice, but I can tell you, you will never go wrong. You will never go wrong. And I know we suffer from this. You will never go wrong by being officially dressed. And I'm telling you, never go wrong. Even if it's an organization that is like the creatives. Like if you go to work in an advertising agency, a lot of people there don't actually wear official. Manufacturing as well, unless you're in sales, people don't wear official clothes. So when you're going for interviews in such places, it does not hurt. And by officially, I don't mean suits. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean suits. I'm sure some of you are about to start feeling the chart. I don't mean wearing suits. I mean being decently dressed. Yeah. Ladies, your skirt has to be below the knee, slightly below the knee. Okay. Don't go above the knee. It has to be below the knee. And then, or you wear your trousers. Then you wear a nice shirt. You really don't have to wear a matching jacket. For men, you really don't have to put on a suit. You can wear a decent shirt and a decent trouser. You really don't have to wear a tie unless it's a bank, or unless you have done your research about this organization and discovered that they require you to wear suits. So dress code is very important. I've seen people who come to the interview with their shoes, wametembea kiatu isha inama. Please, for that interview day, get a cashew. I know things are tough. Get one shoe, because you're going to job hunting now. Get a shoe. Get one pair of shoes that will be your lucky charm, that you only wear to your interviews, at least so that you can spare it from getting worn out. And please note, me, I did not talk about heels. If you want to wear heels, of course. But I can tell you for a fact, for the ladies, that tiny heel, not heels that are going to make you fall. That tiny heel, that one actually gives you confidence, and you can try, go and practice. Tiny heel that will not give you stress when you're walking. It helps. And then understand the company and what it does. I know part of what we are covering today is how to do research, but you need to understand the company now. Because nowadays, a lot of people are being recruited through recruiters like us. You need to understand, if you're coming to Atara Solutions is a recruiter. Go and Google what Atara Solutions does. Go and Google what kind of clients they serve. Then when you come for the interview, try and find out more about the client. And I must commend the people who we have been interviewing nowadays. They're very keen. So Is it okay if who is the client, or is this position for Atara, or the advertisement we saw that you advertised for on behalf of your client? Can we know who the client is? So it's okay to ask, so that by the time you're being invited for a second interview, you at least get to understand what the organization is about. And then punctuality. If you want to build confidence, if you want to be confident, please make sure you arrive on time. I have seen some serious individuals, when they're invited for interviews, they go the day before to scout, confirm this is where the organization is at. They even engage the watchman. They kidogo do their intelligence, go back and come back tomorrow ready to face the day. So punctuality is key. If you come to an interview late, you're going to forget everything that you had prepared to say. I don't know whether some of you have had to speak publicly. Have you ever gone I don't know, you guys are in CU or something? Unaenda kutoa ushuhuda and then everything just evaporates. Or when you're given the mic, you just can't remember what you were supposed to say. I don't know whether you have experienced that. I'm sure you have. When you're asked to speak publicly, everything just disappears. If you don't keep time, if you're not punctual, that means you will forget the things because you'll be tensed. This is a natural reaction for human beings. Now about punctuality, again, if the interview is at 2 o'clock, what are you doing coming there at 8? I know you need the job, but Jesus Christ. I know you want to be punctual, but 8 o'clock is too early. So punctuality also has a balance. Don't be too early, don't be too late. Okay? Yes. So punctuality is very, very important. And then be prepared. Be prepared. If you're invited for an interview, forget the mistakes that you made. I'm sure you have learned your lesson. Make sure you prepare for the mistakes that you've made previously. And you have never gone for interviews. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Now, let me give you a tip. The other day when Jairus was taking you through, I don't know whether it was CVs, I logged in briefly, and I had him telling you to be prepared with the questions, the common questions. Now, tell us about yourself. Let me explain why we ask tell us about yourself. The thinking behind the tell us about your, and I don't know, but I don't understand why everyone, no matter how experienced you are, most of the people I have met freak out about tell us about yourself. Now, here's the thing. As Africans, unfortunately, we have not been raised to talk about ourselves in a very positive, open way. Okay? You kind of feel awkward when you're talking about yourself. Now, here's the thing, people. When you're told, tell us about yourself, the thinking is, this is a point of knowledge for you. This is a point of comfort for you. This is a point where you can relax. That is why it's normally almost the first question everyone will ask you. It is a point of comfort. I mean, if you do not know you, who else should know you? In all honesty. Now, if you go to a client, you're not too sure what they're looking for, right? You need to introduce yourself, give a summary of your CV, give your summary, and your CV means experiences, give a summary of your education background, give a summary of some of the skills that you have that are relevant to this position. And please note, we are not, there's an interview we went to, somebody talked about themselves for 15 minutes. And we were like, wow. Until when? You know, to some point we were like, excuse me, thank you very much. Maybe we can move on to the next question. You don't have to exaggerate about you. I know we are very confident people. We want to talk about ourselves because this is a point of comfort, but remember to balance it off. Remember the first thing we started with? Confidence combined with humility. Make sure that you talk about yourself, and by the way, let me tell you, your verbal, non-verbal cues, your non-verbal expressions, yeah, your face, your body language, it should be telling us that this is a point where you are comfortable. Honestly, and I hope everyone in this call will never suffer answering the question about yourself. If you do not know how to answer, tell us about yourself, go and learn how to introduce yourself. Complete. Don't be too detailed. Again, don't be too shallow. Don't just say, my name is Grace Nzula. I am a HR, I am what? I have a master's degree in human resource management. I'm also certified HR professional. I've been working for 12 years. Thank you very much. How does that help? Yeah. So even if you're going to talk about the skills, you can even start with skills. There's normally no set or rather cast on stone answer to this question. But remember, it is about you. Who are you? What is so unique about you? Yeah. Like, for example, there are places where I will go and how I will introduce myself. I'll make sure the manager in Kapanesa Training Institute comes out very strongly if there are people the people I'm introducing myself to want that skill from me, okay? If I go to the other places where, for example, I'm being interviewed for an event, I will highlight on the skills I have when doing the events that I do so that it can answer the questions about me. So you need to make sure that whatever answer you choose on tell us about yourself, you are prepared. You have gone through, these are the requirements of this position. This is who I am. So how does me, Grace Nzula, or Mwangi Paul, or Katile, how does my skill fit into this position? And that's why we are saying prepare, prepare, prepare. I hope you're still together. Now, on research for interviews, I did not, there's a whole, like about 10 points, which are quite outdated, and especially in the digital age. So I just decided to go with 4. The first one is use social media. Here's the thing, a lot of employers have pages. Don't just go to their websites. Please note, website tunaekanga vitu za kupitia tu, but we can't even remember. I think I have not updated the Tara Solutions website in about 2 years. But our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our Twitter, okay, Twitter is not updated, but Facebook and Instagram has a lot of more details about who Atara Solutions is than you will ever find on the website. So don't only do your research on website, go to their social media pages, go to Buyer Beware if you belong to that group, go to Buyer Beware, type that organization, see what reviews people are writing about them, okay? From there, go to 52 weeks of saving, type that organization, see whether people are reviewing them. Do your research on the digital media and don't rely on the website alone. Now, find people who work there and ask. If you belong to any of these WhatsApp groups, you can just type there, who works for such and such a company. You can actually look for people because maybe you have friends in your network. Who knows people in those organizations? Ask Katila to help you get in touch with Grace. She probably will, yeah? Find people who work there and ask. Maybe your neighbor even works for the organization that you're trying to get employed at. And then the other thing, which is not very advisable, but it's quite advisable, please note, I did not say it is the best, but we use it, go undercover. I talked about going to the watchman. By the way, let me tell you, for me, and please do not quote me, but I am giving you these tips. We are being recorded. Anyway, go to the watchman and befriend them. They know so much about these organizations, and most of them are outsourced. So they have information, but they are not insiders. Okay? They are not insiders. They are informed, but they're not outsiders. Yeah? They're not insiders, rather, they're outsiders. So go to the watchman, befriend them, ask questions about the organization. Huku kuna kujango, watu wanakikuja kazi huku wanatokanga saa ngapi? You know, find your ways to get information about that organization. There are 2 people who are, who know everything about most organizations. The first one is a watchman. The second one is the receptionist. If you come to the HR, we will never tell you. If you go to the marketing people, they'll never tell you. But if you get a way of getting your way to you use your negotiation skills and go undercover and make sure that the watchman gives you information. I tell you, you'll even discover whether you want to work for that organization or not. But make sure that the information you're getting is also true, because there are some watchmen who are very loyal to the organization. So you have to be very careful about going undercover. And that's why we call it go undercover, because they must not know who you really are. Okay. Then there's also ask the recruiter. We are recruiters nowadays. A lot of people, a lot of organizations have outsourced their recruitment. So if you're going through a recruiter, ask the recruiter. They will call you and tell you you're required to attend an interview in such and such a place. Ask, who is the employer? How are they? What are their terms? What do you think about them? How is the culture? By the way, you need to ask about the culture a lot. What time do people go to work? You know, but you need to make sure that you're phrasing them in a way that the recruiter will not think negatively about you, like niwe ni mtu wa kusumbua. So you can ask a thing or two from the recruiter, because some people can be something else. If you're still together, type yes on the chat. If you're still together, you can type yes. I don't like being left alone. Are we together? Okay. Excellent. So what are some of the things, some of the tips, because we can't exhaust this, but decided to put a few things together. There are 3 P's I love working with, yeah? Prepare, practice, participate. If you're not going to come out of this training with anything, remember the 3 P's. Prepare, practice, participate. Prepare, I have talked about preparing. Make sure that you understand where you're going. Make sure the role that you're going for. Go on your mirror, practice. Go to the mirror and find out whether you are, actually nowadays it's even easier. You guys are enjoying life. Eh? Nowadays, if you want to prepare yourself, you can record yourself on your phone and even send to your friend, and you're like, what do you think, how do you think I'm doing on this? Like now, for example, right now there's 28 of you on this call, or rather 20, including me. Anyway, the 25 of you, I hope you have a WhatsApp group where you can start practicing these things. Pose a question, tell us about yourself. Let everybody go and record themselves answering that. And then share, critique each other, go back again and practice, because these are things that are very common. Tell us about yourself. What is your salary expectation? When are you ready to start? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Some of these things are very, very common. Yeah. Practice, 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 practice. So prepare, get ready. That's the first thing. Have your documentation ready. Have your CV printed. Have copies of your documentation, including ID, by the way. Have your copies of certificates and ID with you in your portfolio. Have an extra copy of your CV. Okay. Anything that can help people know who you are, any testimonial that you may have, anything, make sure that you include it there. Have copies of everything. That is on preparation. The night before the interview, make sure you know what you're wearing tomorrow. The night before the interview, make sure you know what time you need to leave home. The night before the interview, make sure that you have looked at yourself in the mirror, you have practiced your smile, you have practiced your walk, you have practiced how you're going to hold your jacket as you button the 3rd button. All these things, just practice. And then when you show up, make sure you literally show up. And showing up is not attending only. Showing up means you are there present. The interviewers can feel your presence in the room by how you're answering questions, by how you are asking questions, by how you are participating in this. And I'll give you a few tips on how to participate before you start asking, so now what are you talking about? Now, under participation, you use this, there's something we call a STAR model. STAR stands for situation, task, action, result. And you can write that down. Situation, task, action, result. This is part of how you get to participate. How does this apply? You're given a scenario. you're told demonstrate how you did 1, 2, 3 things. Or give us a scenario where you are able to demonstrate your leadership skills. Okay. You remember the chat we had, the image we had about listening? Make sure you listen. Okay. Listening is very, very important in the STAR model. Whenever you're given a scenario, please make sure that you understand the scenario that is being posed to you and the situation. Think about it. What are these people trying to tell me? And you can ask, please clarify. Please come again. Yeah, if you have not understood. And this is where taking notes comes into play. Most of the people who attend interviews go without a notebook, go without a pen. You just show up, you have your documents, ni hivyo. I tell you, that is how you miss out on the important points, because somebody is posing a scenario to you and you can't understand it because you're tensed. And writing helps you process the question. Okay. So if they're asking you, write, clarify that this is the question, then think to yourself, what is this situation? Is there a situation that I have experienced this? Okay. Have you come across like what? I'm just trying to think what kind of a scenario that could pose. Tell us a time where you were able to demonstrate your teamwork. And then you're there saying, there's a time where in school, we were told to wash class and everyone left me there washing alone. My dear, that is not teamwork. So look at a situation that will help you answer this. From situation, and please note, you don't have a lot of time to think about this. It is normally very fast, but we are breaking it down today because this is a learning session. So come up with a situation very, very fast. And then from this situation, define the task. What did you do? What are the tasks that were involved that would demonstrate that skill that they are looking for? And then what action did you take? And at the end of the day, what results were achieved? What did you gain? After it all, what did you gain? Okay. I have talked about taking notes. This works, by the way, especially when you're being given scenario questions. Yeah. And then do not be afraid to say you don't know. During interviews, you're asked a question, you're not understanding it, say come again or kindly rephrase. All right. If it's something that you completely have no idea, for example, if you're being asked whether you are very good with Excel, it is okay to ask to what extent. If you do not know QuickBooks, just say you don't know QuickBooks. If you've never worked with an HRIS, just say you don't know. It's okay. It's okay not to know, because no one has the monopoly of knowledge, and it's okay. Don't feel like you'll be victimized for not knowing. It would be worse if they gave you a job and learned that you don't know, because they'll fire you within the first month. And sasa it becomes even worse. Afadhali hata wasikupee hiyo kazi. I hope you're still together. So, any questions so far before we go to the mistakes? Any questions so far?
Yeah. Okay, Madam Grace. I would like you to clarify. For example, I'm preparing for an interview that will occur tomorrow, for example.
Yeah.
At what time am I supposed to sleep?
Can you sleep in the first place? If you have an interview tomorrow, what time is the interview?
For example, the interview is at 8 a.m.
Look, I would say I cannot dictate the time you're supposed to sleep. We are different, okay? We have people who are very energetic in the evening. We have people who are very energetic in the morning. We have people who are in between. At the end of the day, it's what works for you. Please make sure that you don't go on the rave. Don't go drinking and then show up for the interview. That is not good. Mostly you'll find the tension is so much you're not even able to sleep because you are anxious. You try and sleep, but you can't sleep. And you know me, I like being very real. Unajaribu kulala, aki usingizi haikam. And then we are here, Grace is telling you, please sleep by 8 o'clock. Saa ngapi? You will toss and turn on that bed until 5 a.m. If you can find ways to calm yourself down, excellent. Please make sure you get enough sleep because it will help you process the questions. It will help you be calmer. It will help you focus when you attend the interview. Deal with your anxiety. If you need to meditate, please do so that you can be able to sleep. If, for example, you have an interview at 8 a.m. and you need to wake up at 5 a.m. so that you can make it on time, then you can sleep at 10 or 11, depending on your body. How does your body work? I personally, for example, when we have events, like the major events, sometimes we have events that we bring together about 1,000 HR professionals. And sometimes I'm not able to sleep for about 3 days and I'm functional, but that's me. There's some people who, if they don't sleep for a day, they can't function. So it really depends on your personality and how you process things. And sometimes coffee has never harmed anyone if it's a one-off. So if you're not able to sleep, you really can take your coffee and it kickstarts and you're able to function. The key point I'm trying to say here is, so long as you're functional, so long as you can answer questions, so long as you can focus, then by all means. Thank you. There was another question I had seen.
Okay.
Somebody had raised their hand.
Okay.
Yeah, there's somebody who had raised their hand. Ama, they put it down.
I had another one.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The second question. Okay, what are these non-verbal cues that you should not portray during an interview session?
Ya kwanza, can you guys see me? You go into the interview and you're... Yeah. Or even you sit the way I'm sitting now. That is showing an interest, disinterest. So non-verbal cues is your body language, yeah? Look interested, and I think I have a slide on attending skills, yeah? Lean forward. Leaning forward means you want to listen to this, yeah? If you go, sometimes you see somebody coming for an interview, they walk in and the first thing they do is cross their legs. And you're like, Jesus. Sit upright, focus your eyes, look at the person who is asking you questions. If there are many in the room, make sure that you're following your eyes. When you're answering, look at the person who asked, but also make sure that you're also moving your eyes so that you're also engaging everyone else. By the way, it's intentional that I left my video on today. And I'll tell you about it when we're doing virtual interviews. Next question. I hope I have answered that.
Okay, lastly, is it okay to mention your family background during your introduction session?
Give me an example.
For example, I say that I come from a family that is, I don't know how to put it.
I am the third born in a family of 4.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's okay. That's fine. If you're comfortable with it, that's okay. You see, at this point in your career, you don't have a lot of things that you can define yourself with. I don't know whether you understand. So you use all the ammunition that you have. Yote. So if your family background is there, why not? You can say, because by the way, most recruiters or most employers will ask, what number were you born in your family? How many siblings do you have? Are you married? Do you have children? These questions may come up. So it's okay if you covered them at the introduction.
Okay, Lemayan, I can see your hand is up.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Are you allowed to use your phone during the interviews?
No, that is part of them. Use your phone to do what? Okay, maybe I'll answer that question. Maybe we can also go to the common mistakes, and then we can now take the questions. So, common mistakes we make during interviews. Again, interviews is such a huge subject. And I think next week you're still continuing with part of the interviews and the psychological bits of it. So I decided to just put in a few. Now, one of the major mistakes that we make is speaking negatively about your previous employer. No matter how, okay, people like me, Grace, when you tell me that my contract ended or COVID-19 did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I will believe you, but I can read your nonverbal cues and I can tell that that is not the truth. I can tell that it could be part of the truth, but there's something else that is causing you pain. I can tell that you're saying it's COVID, you're saying it's contract that has ended, but I can pick that you're hurt. That means you are either working in a toxic environment, you don't like how things ended, and you're still hurt. Yeah. And sometimes I'll push you to tell me the truth, which is fine because this is me pushing. But like we were doing interviews, I think last month, and we asked this lady, why do you want to leave your current employer? And she said, my contract is ending next month. And you know, and we were like, okay, so why are they not renewing your contract? Because we know if somebody is a star employee, then the contract will certainly be renewed. So it's two things. Either the employer doesn't want to keep you or you don't want to be kept. So we inquired further. Of course, she tries to hide it. And we are like, okay, drop the act. What exactly is happening? Where? It's like she did not know when to stop. She went on and on, how they are asked to come to work at 7 a.m., how they are not paid on time, how the employer shouts at them. Where? Have you ever regretted asking questions? Because I did. I was like, wow, maybe you shouldn't have asked for too much. Anyway, she ended up venting. And obviously for the client and myself, we're like, she needs a bit of maturity. She also needs to deal with whatever is hurting her. Okay? So in as much as you want your hurt by your employer, make sure that you have processed those emotions. Because if you show up in the interview, you're still hurt with your previous employer, we might pick it up. And when we pick it up, it might make you lose the job. So when you're answering this question, remember, this is an employer, and probably, your employer may be my best friend, whoever you are working for, and you don't know. So you come and talk ill about them, and guess what? So speaking negatively about your employer, cease. The other common mistake that we make is not understanding the role. We don't understand the role that we are interviewing for. You saw an admin position being posted, you do not understand what an admin does. You have seen an engineer position being posted, you don't understand what an engineer does. You have gone to school, yes. But unajua shule na hapa kwa ground, things are very different. What have you done? What extra mile have you gone in making sure that you understand what is the core? Like, for example, for HR professionals, if there's any HR who is logged on to this core and you do not understand what the labor laws are, mommy, daddy, surely, why are you coming to interview for a HR role? Because that's our Bible. It's like you're going to church or to the mosque and you're not carrying your Quran and you don't understand what a Bible is. And then failure to match the skill to the position. Now, this is where the meat of the interview is at. And this is a challenge that I'm posing to you guys. As soon as you finish this call, you need to go and write down what are the skills that you possess that are matching to the whatever it is that you've studied in school or any other position that you may be eyeing. If you're not matching your skills, you'll be in trouble. And I'm saying this, I am a trained journalist. I have done a degree in journalism. And one question that I'm always getting, so journalism and then HR, these are like worlds apart. How do they come together? And you see, if you do not understand what skills you possess that are answering to the other one, then my friend, utaanza kusema hapana, ni mzazi alikosa school fees, ama hiyo ilikuwa degree ya mzazi, sasa ninafanya yangu. Failure to project soft skills. And now I'm going to give you an assignment again, because I believe you guys are serious human beings. Go and understand what are soft skills. Which ones are these? Kina communication, I can give you a few examples. Communication skills, teamwork, conflict resolution, problem solving, emotional intelligence, etc., leadership. And then uncertain of the facts in your CV. I talked about this when we were starting. What is in your CV and what you're projecting are two very different people. Please, if you have gone to JCVs and he has made your CV, make sure that you understand what has been put in that CV. Are we together? Type yes on the chat, because this one is very, very annoying. And I can tell you, a lot of HR people will pick this. They will pick the mismatch between your CV and you as a person. Then using your phone. Here we are, my friend Lemayan, using your phone. What are you on your phone doing? Googling stuff. What are you exactly doing on your phone? I know we are living in the tech world. I know most of you will tell me I'm taking notes on the notepad. It depends. Now, because of the attitude that a lot of employers have about your generation, and I'm being very particular about this, it doesn't hurt to carry a small notebook. Instead of your phone, check your notebook. Instead of referring, because sometimes the attitude is that WhatsApp kataingia and you'll be tempted to check your WhatsApp. A distraction might come when your phone is on. In fact, even during trainings, we say, please have your phone on silent and put it upside down, so that then you don't get distracted. Once you get distracted, small things, you'll be seated there, you're doing an interview, and then apo juu, pale juu, aka message pops. It's your girlfriend, babe, I'm pregnant. And you're like, just somewhere, what am I supposed to do here now? So some of these disruptions is what you need to avoid. The phone might be ringing, just put your phone in silent, wacha ikae kwa handbag, ama ikae kwa mfuko. Go with a notebook, write things down. After you are done, you can tear that paper if you never want to see that notebook again. And I'm saying this because a lot of employers, because I can't speak for a lot of HR professionals, employers, and all these people who sit in these interviews have not really embraced technology. When you hold your phone, and the attitude they have about your generation is that unaingia TikTok or you're checking your Instagram. So please, just don't use your phone. Let me just be very honest. Mimi sitaki kuwapaka mafuta. Being very honest and very candid. Don't use your phone. You'll use it from, the interviews are like what? Maximum 30 minutes. Na zile written, you just do them for an hour and you're done, or 2 hours. Yeah? Avoid that. Then your body language. Make sure you look interested. Make sure your face and what you're talking about, they are going hand in hand. Now say, Mimi, Apple, Sangapi? No, I did not know. They did not tell me. Oh, it was supposed to be that way. Oh, imagine I did not know. And then avoid personal questions. Hey, lakini some people can show us things. What? There are questions that you might ask the recruiters that are very personal. For example, you go and ask your recruiter things about themselves. Can I get your number? When can I have coffee with you? Some of these things are not necessary. And then don't focus on yourself too much, but focus on the job. Yeah. Make sure that your interest, your conversations are revolving around your job, what you are interviewing for. What is this that you will do? What are these things that you're capable of? What are these things that you're strong at? What are these things that you've been able to do? What are some of the achievements that will help you ace this job? Yeah. What are some of the certifications that you have that will help you do this job better? If you're being interviewed for example, a marketing job, what have you done? What is happening on your social media pages? Can you send them evidence? But you see, you're not necessarily focusing on, I am very good at this. In fact, if you give me this job, I will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. No. You will say, I have experience in this, or I am good at this because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you take it back from you and to the job. I don't know whether you're understanding that point. You will tell me. And then, how do you contribute to the interview? The first thing is you need to say hello when you walk into the room. Make sure that you greet the people that you find in the room. If I see people who walk into the office and they are wondering, do I sit? Do I stand? Where do I stand? I mean, which seat is mine? You scout the room and you're like, Jesus Christ, where was I? When you get into the room, say hello. You can request to sit. If they look at you and they're not answering, it's fine. You can ask whether it's okay to take the interview standing if there are no seats, because sometimes people want to see how you will react. Yeah, so go say hello, ask to sit down if they are not offering you a seat. And then at the end of the interview, make sure you say thank you. Some of these things go a long way. They're simple, they are etiquette, like they're simple things. Yeah, like if you're talking to your boyfriend or your girlfriend tonight, I'm sure you will tell them good night, love you, with those emojis. Ask questions. Ask questions. Seek for clarity. Now, when I talk about use attending techniques, I wish we were doing this physically, but it's okay. You lean forward. This is to say yes. It's like when you lean forward, it's like saying, I'm ready to listen, or I'm here, I'm focusing on this. Yeah. So attending techniques are like you lean forward. Attending techniques will be you writing notes. Attending techniques will be you facing your body language matching with your reactions. And then sometimes you're asked a question and it's a shocker. Yeah. In as much as you get shocked, don't dwell on it. In as much as sometimes you get offended by a question, don't dwell on it. Maliza, uende. If you discover these are not people, like for example, men and women nowadays are being taken advantage of. You go for an interview and the person interviewing you, for example, to the boy child, is this sugar mommy who wants something more than the interview, and they're trying to do something to you at that point. It is okay to walk away. It is okay to just not entertain such nonsense. Yeah. So use attending techniques, lean in. Yeah. Take your notes, be present physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Be in that room. Don't come to the interview, but you're wondering, sasa nitafika kwetu saa ngapi? Or you're wondering, my God, basi za jioni zitaisha. Okay. Then I said I will talk about virtual interviews. Virtual interviews, you need to make
Sorry
sure
to
that
interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry to interrupt, but before we move on,
Yes.
I had seen Lemayan hand up.
Okay.
I think he has a question.
What's up, Lemayan?
Nilikuwa nauliza. Hello.
Yes. I'm just reading your chat.
Kuna vile unaenda interview. Unapata kama ni boy mtu anakuinterview ni kama yana extend interview kwenda vitu vingine. How do you handle such situations? Ama pale unaenda nyumbani anakuambia niwachie namba, then nitakwambia kama umepata kitu ulikuja kutafuta, ama kufika nyumbani things become different. How do you handle such situations?
I normally tell people this is about your values. This is about you. Because there are people who have no problem sleeping around. We call them sexually transmitted promotions or jobs. There are people who have no problem going with this mama to sijui where. Kwanza hawa mama wanakuambianga vile wanakutumia tickets. Na inakujanga, by the way, boy child, poleni sana. They send you a ticket to meet them in Mombasa, and you have seen Mombasa and you're like, just so. Why not? At the end of the day, it's all about your values. I don't judge people. I mean, human beings can shock you. So at the end of the day, it's about your values. What do your values dictate to you? Are you comfortable extending the interview to personal life? Are you comfortable? Of course, let me now become your big sister. That is a no-go zone, my friends. Do not even try that. Do not go there. It does not end well.
Another question.
This is not me as HR. This is Nzula as your elder sister. If you go that route, you're never going to stop, and it ends in premium tiers.
Another question.
Yes.
Unaenda, you know, the service, kuna service unafaa kupea na unajua kabisa ni free. Unaambiwa na mtu interviewer you need to pay 25,000 for this service. Unafaa kumuuliza hiyo pesa ni ya nini, na tunajuanga hapa huduma inapeanwa ni free. Why are you taking the money?
You can. You're like, why? Okay. You know how you do it? It's normally how you ask. I mean, it's how you ask, it's not what you ask. He's asking for 25,000. You ask nicely. 25,000 includes what and what? Let them give you an itemized bill of your 25,000. Let them explain to you what this 25,000 is for. Because ukianza kumwambia hiyo 25,000 hata si ya nini, saa zingine anakuangalia unasema wewe, and maybe all they were trying is trying you. So sometimes you ask, what is this about? If they answer you in a positive way, then you're like, hey boss, hiyo sasa si ni kutake to advantage jameni. I mean, this service is free. Mbona unaumiza ndugu zako? And you realize this person was just probably had not had lunch. So yes, but you also have to set boundaries. If you know it's free, na huyo mtu anakukazia kabisa, sometimes you just tell them, boss, hii kitu ni free. Why should I pay? Why am I paying? You know? You guys are very bold, by the way. This generation of yours is very bold. I get surprised sometimes. There are things that we were never allowed to do. But one thing I would challenge you on is, in your boldness, make sure that you're choosing your language. Make sure that you're being courteous. Make sure that you're very factual about what you're complaining about or what you're posing to this other party. Because if you're not very careful, you will always be called the bad person, and people will not enjoy working with you. At the end, ndio mtu wa kufaitia rights za kila mtu. You'll always be jobless. Hatupendi watu wa union sana.
Kuna siku nikaambia mtu, tuseme nilienda ofisi ya kupeana ID. I was like, nikaambiwa lipa 300. Kamuuliza na sasa ni za nini? Hata before kuniambia ni za nini, ananiambia nenda basi peke yako jipige picha, ulete your passport, alafu tukuje tukuchukue fingerprint. Unafaa kumwambia aje sasa, na tuseme ID yenyewe ni so urgent.
So public service has messed us up.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, because that is the situation now with the world we live in. Unfortunately, people are taking advantage of each other. Unfortunately, even the free services, we are told they are not necessarily free. And at this point, you need to choose. You make a decision, Lemayan. Unaenda kujipiga picha ama unatoa 300? So, you know, some of these things, you see, there are people who will never take in corruption. I was seated with an incoming a governor, an outgoing senator vying for governorship. And he asked me, Grace, what do you think about corruption? And I looked at him and I was like, what do you mean about corruption? What am I supposed to think about? If I'm caught by a cop today on the road, maybe I'm not going to the court the next day. Mimi sitaenda. Cha ukweli ni kwamba I'll tell him, boss, tusaidiane. And unfortunately, this is a thing with Kenyans. So at the end of the day, you decide, what are your values? What can you condone and what can't you condone? Are you ready to fight back? You know, at the end of the day, you ask yourself, okay, fine. But ngoja, when you're looking for a job, msienda kuchotea watu. Don't pay those people who tell you to pay CG for chapter 6. Do not do that. Be careful of scammers. Be very careful of scammers. Do not go there. Ati nipatie 10,000 ndio nikuweke kwa interview list. Do not. Mwambia kuweka kwa interview list. Ukipita hiyo interview utampatia hiyo 10K. Because they will watakugonga. Mengineo? Maswali yameisha? We touch a bit on virtual interviews.
Just to react on the same what about
Yes. We can't hear you.
can I proceed?
Sure.
I'm just reacting on Lemayan's question. I think it's Lemayan's about that. I think the reason when people present themselves for a service, they tend to, for example, Lemayan was saying that it was urgent. So when you go and say to somebody is urgent, so the person will take advantage of you, and he'll test you to see if what's your reaction. For example, if he told him to give 300 and the man seemed to pay it, the guy will be happy. But if your reaction tend to be different, the person will accept. But when you show him you are ready to pay, he will go forward and ask that amount that he or she needs from you, because you know there's no other option. You need to pay that service. So you need to stand for yourself and what is right for you.
Exactly. Stand up for what you believe in. That's why I said at the end of the day, it's about your values. What do you want? What can't you go beyond? What are the boundaries that you've set for yourself? Are you going to pay for a free service that you'd otherwise get for free? At the end of the day, it's a decision you get to make yourself. Thank you very much, Justus, for your contribution. Right. Can we move on? Mwangi. Mwangi Paul,
Yes.
you know you're my host. Permission to
Yes.
continue?
Yeah, we can continue.
Okay. Now, when you are asked to attend a virtual interview, make sure that you are in a place where there is network. Ya kwanza kabisa, make sure that you're in a place where there is network. Ya pili, make sure that you have enough bundles. And by enough bundles, I mean in case that meeting is on Zoom and it will go for 1 hour, make sure that your bundles are enough to last you the 1 hour. Because I have seen people who are asked to come on Zoom and 10 minutes later, they're saying, kindly let me recharge my bundles. Kama hauna place iko na Wi-Fi, make sure that you have bundles. But even if you're in a place where there is Wi-Fi, blackout ukuja. Make sure your gadgets are properly charged. Okay? Make sure that your gadgets are charged. Make sure that you have a backup. You're logged in on a computer and probably logged on a phone, or you're using your phone, whichever it is that's comfortable. Make sure that you're not running a risk of internet and you're not running a risk of stima kupotea. Because we live in the KPLC world. And then the other thing, I've talked about bundles, yes. The other thing that you need to make sure you have done is you are in properly lit rooms. I'm tempted to ask you to switch on your videos now, not your mics, just your videos. When you're attending an interview, make sure your lighting is correct. Make sure that you can be seen. So that means that you need to move to a room that is very well lit, that people can see you. Now, when you go for an interview and it's virtual, make sure that you are not lying on a bed. You know, the way like this, because we can tell when you're lying on a bed. Make sure that you're in a position where you can sit upright and that you're comfortable. Now, the other thing that I have seen, which is a tabia mbaya when it comes to virtual calls, people switching on their video, like there's somebody who we were training with, and they switched on their video and started walking along the corridor. They're just pacing along the corridor. That is poor etiquette for virtual meetings or interviews. I digressed. And so make sure that your lighting is correct. Make sure that you're in a place where you can sit upright. That in case you're told that turn on your video, you're comfortable turning on your video. What does that mean? That even the dresses, the clothing that you wear, make sure you are dressed officially, just in case you are asked to turn on your video. The other thing about virtual interviews is be prepared. Be prepared the same way we said. Be prepared, because the only difference is that we cannot see each other face to face. So be prepared, be audible, make sure people can hear you. Oh yeah, avoid noisy places. There's somebody we asked to come for an interview and they went to take the interview at Java. So when we were starting the interview, it was okay, it was around 9:30. But by around 10, Java was full. We could not hear anything. Like even for them, they kept doing this, you know? So for virtual interviews, you ought to know where you're taking the interview from, even if you have to go and ask your friends, even if you have to ask everyone in the house to move, so that you're able to have your privacy, be in a quiet place, make sure you have internet, make sure you have bundles, make sure you're prepared, your documents are ready. In fact, if you're asked to share screen, you even can. Like if they're trying to find your CV and they cannot, you can ask, can I also project my CV? It's fine. And then assume, and you need to go and practice. Lakini nyinyi hamna shida ya kujipiga mapicha na kuongea kwa video. So practice that, because when you come here, you assume a TV personality. Look into the screen. Look into the, like now I'm using a laptop. Make sure you look into the camera. Don't look at yourself. Make sure you're looking at the camera, because the other person can only see you through the camera and not by you looking at yourself on the picture. So make sure that you assume a TV personality. And don't be afraid. In fact, it's probably better when it's on Zoom, because they cannot really see your other body language. They can only see your face and probably half of yourself. So that is the world we are living in, and those are some of the tips that I could share. I think I am done. Now I can take a few questions. It's 8:34. I've seen a question from Beryl. What is the best answer to give when you asked, tell us about your weaknesses? I think this goes person to person. The cliche answer has been, I am a perfectionist, which is not necessarily true. That has been a cliche answer, but make sure that you understand yourself. You understand some of the weaknesses that you have. Make sure that the way you answer that question does not portray you in bad light. And this you can only do by understanding the role. For example, me, Grace Nzula, I know I have a weakness, I forget. I forget a lot. So even if I come for an interview, I say I have a weakness in forgetting, but how I manage it is by carrying like 3 notebooks and my notepad on the phone and my calendar, both on the phone and my diary. As in, I have 1,000,001 things, including my assistant, to remind me of things because I forget. So when you're answering that question, make sure that in as much as you're pointing out a weakness, you are also have a countermeasure to it. And this now comes depending on the position that you're interviewing for. I wish I could know your background to actually understand some of the things, or just post scenarios on some of the things that you might face as you go to your job hunting, kazi ya kutafuta kazi. Lemayan, I can see your hand is up.
Ukienda kwa interview, Alafu kuna kitu umeambiwa labda confirm kwa simu yako. Ama kuna kitu nafaa kupiga simu kuuliza. Is it advisable pick your call mbele ya interviewers ama you move some distance before answering that call?
If you are being asked to ask something on the phone at that point, please pick the phone there, because if you walk away, they might start putting doubt. But it also depends. Some of these things hakunanga ati kitabu imeandikwa, because if you pick the phone right there, okay, Ebu, give me a proper scenario. Like, what would they be asking you to go and check on phone?
For example, no, like, let me give you an example. Nienda mahali unaambiwa unatumia bank gani? Useme cooperative bank. Then unaulizwa bank code ni gani? Maybe like unataka kupigia tenders moja wa bank umuulize hiyo code.
Hiyo now you do it outside.
Okay.
That one you do it outside. I thought it's like calling somebody to give a testimonial about you.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that one, if it's a document that you're being asked to confirm, or a number, or NSSF, NHIF, you need to call home and confirm your PIN number. You do it. You can excuse yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beryl, I hope I have answered your question. Okay, Faith is saying it's also advisable to ensure that where you are seated, the background is not distracting, to ensure that also the interviewers focus only on you. Exactly. Thank you very much for that contribution, Faith. By the way, there are some people who have some graffitis on their wall. Mpaka interviewers are busy reading the wall instead of listening to you. So you can even have, it's okay to have a painting. Yes, go ahead, Faith. Go ahead.
Hi, Grace.
Hello,
I have two questions for you. Nimeona ni ngumu kutype. But one is, for instance, you've been invited for maybe door-to-door marketing job. Is it really necessary for me to go wearing an official wear when the job description is really not for an official thing?
Have you been given the job? Thanks.
Okay. But the employer expects anaona mtu mwenye anaweza fit kwa hiyo role.
That's why I say
nimevaa suti na ni kazi ya kuzunguka manyumba.
But you have not been given the job yet. Na mimi si kusema mvae suti. Nilisema mvae official. There's a difference. Suit is part of the official clothing. But you can wear a decent skirt, you can wear a decent trouser and a nice shirt. It doesn't have to be a suit.
Okay, answered.
Yeah.
Second
So
question.
even if you're going, let me just explain that a bit. Even if you're going to do foot soldiers, you're being recruited as a foot soldier. The day you're going for the interview, make sure you're dressed not as a foot soldier. Because you want to become a foot soldier forever. You may be applying for a foot soldier, but they might be looking for the head of the foot soldiers who will be sitting in the office. So long as you're attending an interview and you don't even know the people you're going to meet, some of them are so conservative that if they see you wearing jeans and a shirt, they judge you immediately. If they see you wearing a red top and a green shirt, they judge you immediately. By the way, I normally advise you, because you do not know what the other person sitting on the other side is, lean on to the conservative side. Even if your interview is in Mombasa, don't wear those see-through shirts I have seen that are showing your bra. Juu umeenda Mombasa ama sasa ni sleeveless kwa sababu uko coast. You can wear your chiffon top, which is nicely ironed and everything, and show up looking as sharp as the old bank managers as we used to know them. Faith, hujamaliza swali ya pili?
Yes, my second question ni, I'll give you a practical example. Kuna interview tulienda, we were like 15 people. and then tukaambiwa kila mtu ajiintroduce jina. After introduction, tukapewa maswali kwa karatasi, tukaambiwa we discuss and answer the questions. After tumejibu maswali, the interviewer akaanza kuuliza questions like, who do you think misled the team? Who do you think answered correctly? Who do you think gave irrelevant answers? So hizo maswali ni za kuprove nini. Employer anataka kujua nini exactly? Anataka kujua nani snitch ama nani honest ama what exactly ndio anataka kujua from such questions?
They are called psychometric questions. They are normally trick questions. Sometimes you really can't tell. Sometimes you just got to be honest. Sometimes you have to follow your gut, because honestly, you can't even think about what they're trying to answer. Because utapata question 1 is this, question 2 looks so close related to question 1, but it's kind of opposite. Then you answer that one, and question 3 looks like it's related to question 1, and then it's also different. And then you don't even understand how it's tying to each other. So in such cases, you just go with your instinct. Don't overthink. Psychometric tests are very tricky because different recruiters or different employers use different tools for psychometric. So you can actually go, you can note this down, write a psychometric, go on Google, learn about different psychometric tools, learn about the questions and the answers to such questions. It will really help you because they're quite diverse. I've seen a lot of people, kwanza the people who use tech, they rely a lot on psychometric. Yeah. So I hope that has answered. Are there color restrictions for dresses to the interview, or should I lean dull colors, bright colors, or combination of both? I would advise personally, because I have seen, like, sometimes as a recruiter, you go to your company, your people to your client for an interview, and the only thing they're dismissed over is because they're using they're wearing multicolors. Then you go to another client and they're really excited that these people are wearing color. So I would say, if you ask me, it's okay to, for example, if it's bottoms, wear something dark, which is the standard British, what do we call it? The British colors. That is your navy blue, your blacks, your grays, your jungle greens, you know, those a bit dull colors on the bottom. And then at top, you can wear a bright top. I honestly don't think, but you break the colors. But don't come in a yellow trouser and a yellow top. People will wonder whether you're going to for entertainment. So yes, if you want to be treated seriously, dress like a serious person. So if you ask me, my advice would be lean on to the conservative. Put on your dark colors on the bottom and match with a brighter something. Wear a black dress, match with a bright blazer. If you're wearing a flowered dress, make sure your blazer is also plain color. You know, play around with the colors so that then you're not shouting too much and then you're not also too on the dark. This is my advice, and at the end of the day. But if you're going to like a creative's job, oh please, those ones. If I personally, if I'm interviewing graphic designers and you come with black hair and in a suit without graffiti, I'm not hiring you, because that is definitely not you. But if I'm looking for a designer and you come, yani designers, you know, something must be mahali kidogo tu. They'll have red hair, they'll have a decent shirt, but you'll note something off about their shoes. There's a way they express themselves through what they're wearing. So if you're looking for a designer, there's some things that if they come in a suit, you'll know they have really been grilled. Either their father tried to tell them what to do, and they'll be very uncomfortable. So yeah. So for color, please lean on to the conservative end, because you do not know who the other person is. For younger companies that are run by young people, normally color doesn't really matter. But you know, you can't really tell who you're going to meet, who are the directors, what do they prefer, you know, some of these things. I remember when I went into consultancy, one of my mentors asked me, my hair is always like this, So one of my mentors asked me whether that is hair for people who are consultants, or is it corporate? The good thing is nowadays it has been accepted as a corporate. You know, kitambo, we were never allowed. Like kitambo, you have dreadlocks, people think that you're a very bad person. But nowadays it's a norm. So at the end of the day, it really depends on the organization. So lean on to the conservative side. There are places even now, if I'm going to pitch for a job, I will probably hold my hair somewhere. Just, yeah. Yes, Lemayan.
It's a bit funny, but do walking style matter? Sababu, kuna rafiki yangu moja aliambiwa, so you want to be a doctor and you walk like a patient, and you want to be saying you want to be a soldier and you walk like a suspect.
I mean,
yeah.
Some of these things, it's the people will pass me in comments, in all honesty. But like I said, practice being on the conservative. Usiende ukibounce huko na unatafuta kukua nini manager. They'll wonder what kind of examples are you setting, you know.
That was the point I was expecting.
Yes, so don't do that. Yes. So learn to lean on the conservative side in some of these things that you're unclear. And I'm telling this because I've experienced them. When the first time I went for an event with the Institute of Human Resources, it was in Mombasa, and you know Mombasa. I was in a very decent dress, but it was sleeveless. One of the comments I got was that I need to start wearing, from the audience, is that I need to stop showing my arms. And I was like, why? You know, at first it didn't make sense, but then the more I thought about it, the more I thought about the audience, I was like, wow, I cannot assume that we are all young in this place. I mean, some of these government employees are older than my mother, and they are seated here. So I also needed to now lean on to the conservative side. Yeah. So we keep polishing ourselves as we go. All right. Oh yeah, filler words during interviews. Now, if you're a Toastmaster, you know arms and ahs are not very good. But again, sometimes it's you. Of course, you're supposed to practice and not really say, but normally the arms and the ums are normally not a very good idea because they show that you are not prepared, or you're about to lie, or you're about processing stuff. So if you can avoid them, well and good. If you can't, then make sure that the point that you bring forth is going to make them forget that you are arms and ums. Yeah, that would be my answer. I sometimes end up doing even during presentations, and I am a Toastmaster, I am a certified trainer, but I still do the arms. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's about the message you're passing across. They are not good. I'm not encouraging you to use them, but walk yourself out of them. Practice making sure that you're not using them a day at a time, until you get to a point where you're not using the filler words. The so, the see. Kwanza kuna watu wanapenda, hey, see, I told you, but I did. Those things, kabisa, out.
Another question. For example, sisi wote ambao tuko kwa group tumeenda interview mahali moja. So we have gentlemen and ladies. And how should we handle one another kwa hiyo interview? Tunafaa kwenda kama watu tunajuana, ama tunaenda tu kama strangers, kila mtu ametoka kwao, interview ndio imetuleta pamoja? What do you do?
Inalingana. Kama nimekuja Zitech kwa recruit nyi wote, why should I expect that you don't know each other?
No, kuna ile
unajuana.
Unajua kuna venye watu, the way they handle each other, unapata watu wameanza hapo kuomba
kuleta mchezo. Hapana.
Kuomba namba hapo hivyo.
Those ones, of course not. Of course not. You come, you are looking for a job, you make sure that you're conducting yourself in a way that is acceptable in the workplaces. So msikuje kucheza hapo, msikuje kupiga maselfie as you wait to be called for your turn, msikuje ati sasa nyinyi ndio mnapiga mnachaka mnajiangukia hapo as you wait to be called in. No. In as much as you know each other, mkuje, be silent, wait for your turn, finish. Alafu mkishavuka barabara, si you can continue with your sherehe.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. So I am assuming there are no more questions. Thank you very much, you guys. I want to hand over the meeting back to my host. Oh God, Faith, Sema.
Okay, I wanted to type my question because I'm in a noisy area, but it's okay. What if, I think I tend to talk a lot, especially when a question deserves the response. How do you know you've talked too much? Like, where do you cut off? Like, you're asked a question, when do you now say, that's enough? Like, tell me about yourself. Thank you.
This is the part where you start learning to read people's reactions. Okay, if people were listening to you and paying attention and looking at you direct into the eye, and then all of a sudden they have leaned back and they're starting to look at each other, please remember, two things. You have either hit the nail on the head or you have overdone it. And sometimes you can also time yourself. Tell us about yourself should not take you more than 5 minutes. I hope I have answered that. It should not take more than 5 minutes. Sometimes because of people who talk a lot, make sure you are also listening so that you don't talk a lot and you're answering the wrong question. They're expecting you to go to Ruai, you are busy going to Mombasa. And you have talked and you're answering the wrong thing. So make sure that you understand the question and then answer it. It's okay to answer questions exhaustively, by the way. It's not a bad thing, Faith. It's a good thing. But again, don't overdo it. But you learn. The more you attend interviews, the more you practice, the more you attend such trainings, you learn. We have maybe I should post. We did a very nice webinar. But Kwanza, first of all, how many here follow us? How many on this call follow Atara Solutions? Katile, you're not doing well as my brand ambassador. Because I know you attend our Tuesday sessions. Where is that? There we go. So I have put our YouTube channel on a webinar we did on answering interview questions. Maybe you can go, you'll find all the answers about your common questions there, and maybe you can relate with them. There's another one that we did about job searching. I'm sure Nani did that. Did Jairus talk about ATS and how to optimize your CV? Kwani nyinyi hamkuwa hapo? Wewe. Did DJ talk about the ATS? Lemayan?
Yes.
Okay. How you deal with that question? You can't answer at this moment. Where is this? How you deal with questions that you can't answer at the moment? Okay, when you okay, I'm assuming that means you're asking when you're asked something that you're not able to answer at that particular time. Why can't you answer that point? Anyway, sometimes you say that I really wish to keep it private, but in a very nice way. I'm not known to have very nice ones. But yeah, you have courtesy when you're saying that you're not able to answer that question. I'm just trying to think, why wouldn't you want to answer a question? That's what is going on in my mind right now. Why wouldn't you be able to answer that question? Maybe you can give me an example so that I can at least answer you specifically, because this is too general. Jackson, are you able to probably give me an example?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe for my question, maybe at the moment you asked a question that maybe you really don't have the answer. Maybe you were there, you were stuck, and you want to move out of that question. Maybe and you can't answer. Maybe yeah.
Okay, not personal questions, yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, so if that, for that case, you can request them. Allow me to go and research on that, and then probably I can also email the answer. That would be the best answer to that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. It's 8:57. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome audience. I know we cannot exhaust this, but you can ask Katile where to find me, or I don't know whether Paul knows where to find me, but he was my host today and I took over. Sorry, Paul. You know, I'm used to being the moderator. Sasa leo niko the other side, but don't worry about it. We shift in both. So I have enjoyed myself as well. Thank you so much, guys. And over back to you, Paul.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Grace. I really appreciate your presentation. But before I give my vote of thanks, I would like to give a chance to a few of our members. Maybe Katirik, do you have something you can tell us?
Okay, hello. For me, I really
Hello.
appreciate the wonderful session. Thank you so much, Madam Grace, for that wonderful session. And maybe because I know this is a new team we are with, so I did not inform them about Hatara, but I think speaker, you can, yeah, I'll be sharing more about Hatara and the webinars. So I hope everyone will be joining on Tuesdays.
Not to worry, don't sweat it, Katile. It's fine. No worries. I've given them the link to the YouTube channel. They can catch up as well. But you're welcome to our sessions on Tuesdays.
Okay, thank you so much, Katile. Maybe Dennis, do you have something you can tell us?
Oh, I don't think I have something. I'm just great. It was a great presentation today. Only that.
Okay, thank you very much, Dennis. Dominic, I hope you can hear me. Oh, seems like Dominic is not around.
He was on the road.
Let me give this. Okay, let me give this chance to Patrick Ongechi. At least I know he can be having something to tell us.
You should pick a lady now.
Patrick? Okay, seems like, oh, you can continue, Patrick. Seems like he's having some problem with his network.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, let me give my vote of thanks. I really appreciate your work. It was such an insightful presentation. On my side, I've learned a lot. You've helped me a lot because I remember there's a time I was about to attend an interview, but I kept asking myself, what are the questions am I going to expect from the interview? How am I going to tackle the questions? But as from now, I know that whenever I have an interview, I'll be able to present myself very well and get a chance to get the job. So, Madam Grace, I really thank you so much. On behalf of the team, we really appreciate your work. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you. Please make sure that you check the links I've shared. They are all about job seekers. They will really help you in terms of just shedding more light on this. So asante sana.
I hope everyone have filled out their details for the attendance. Okay, let me send the link, Patrick.
Why didn't you ask Lemayan to say thank you?
He
has been a very active participant.
Lemayan.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Fine.
Mimi nashukuru sana being part of this conversation. Unajua ni weekend nimeenda kwa restaurant, imebidi niende kwa private room just because of this discussion. Na mimi najua kila mtu mwenye kwa group next time mkienda interview you'll never fail. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Lemayan. You've been very nice, as in very jovial, very, I don't know, just that. But
thank you.
I look forward to conveying some meeting with you.
I'll share my email, man.
Okay. Faith, you can send me an email. I've shared my email address. Or Katila will share what's coming next. She gets my emails. Tuesday we are talking about diversity and inclusion. Yeah. Sometimes we get very technical, but karibu, you learn a thing or two. But last Tuesday, you can check on the Nini, we were doing LinkedIn optimization for job seekers. So, but learning never stops, eh? You might gather a thing or two. Ukiitwa interview, when what have you been doing as you're waiting to get a job? I attend Atara Solutions lessons. Most HRs will understand. Anyway, I'm kidding. But yeah. All right. Can I leave now? Paul? Permission to go?
Yeah, okay. There being no other business of the day, I think everybody can live at their own pressure.
Okay, because there are people who are still filling in the form and I need to get home to my children. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.